date.
Have you got your driver's licence on you, sir?
A good place to find unrestored furniture is at deceased estate auctions or clearing and garage sales. You'll often see the connoisseurs and dealers looking around, but don't let that stop you.
I'm 20 off the back, I've got you, madam. You're both out here. Yes! 5, 20, yes! 30. I'm 5 to right, madam. 30's in there. I'm $30. Price. Up we go. 30. Dana. Hold on. 30 bucks. Number 60 it is. Number 60.
When you're buying, it's really a matter of what appeals to you. But if you're looking for authenticity, it's important to be aware of odd marriages between combination pieces. It might be an obvious marriage, such as this bookcase on top of an original base, or it might be an interesting marriage between two original but separate pieces, such as this bookcase top on a sideboard base. Always, however, look at the origins of the timber in relation to its period, the style, and therefore its age. You have every right to fully inspect a piece for identification, condition, and any evidence of pests such as borer or beetle damage. But don't worry about borers, they're easily eradicated. Now tell me, Steve, what should people do when they come to an auction, and what are the rules and regulations about bidding?
Basically, Steve, the first thing you should do when you come to an auction is register. Let the auctioneering company know you're there and get a buyer's bid card. And then the rules and regulations regarding auction are basically, once the auctioneer's hammer goes down or knocks down an item to you, it's your product, you own it.
So it's your responsibility, you have to look after it.
That's exactly right, so you've got to be careful and make sure you know what you're bidding on.
And so it's important for people to look at the pieces thoroughly before they buy and set a limit, is that
Definitely.
right?
Probably the most important thing you can do is do your homework, know what things are worth, and basically set yourself a limit and don't go above it.
900. That's 950. 950 bid. The big guns are lazy with 950.
There are a couple of ways to bid. First one is to creep along with the other bidders, hoping to wear them out and to get the piece for as little as possible. Another way is to launch yourself confidently in with a big bid that will be above the current price but under your reserve. This technique is designed to frighten the half-hearted bidders out of the arena.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, lot number 3 is $1,000 for 1 grand, 1,000, 9, 800 to start me, 8 to start with a little cedar table, 8, 7, no stupid money, come on, 7, 6, clear in. No bid, no offer?
150.
I bid 200, thank you. I bid $200. And 200 the little cedar table. I bid 50. Bid 300 you, sir. I bid $300. 50 out the back there. I bid 400 out the back now. I bid 450. 455. 500 right away. At $500. At 500 all out in close to me here. At 50. 550 it is. 550. At 550. Think about it, madam. It's an investment. I bid 550. At 5 at 600. At $600 bid. I bid 600. At 6 the money. At $600 bid. That's 600. That's $600. Now wave your hand or I can't see you. That's $600. What? 50. 650. What? 50. That's what I thought too. Fair dinkum I did. I mean 650. 650 bid. 650. Don't give up, man. 650's the bid. That's 650. Out we go at 650. Not 700. That's 700 bid. Now wouldn't that sir? Fair dinkum. I mean 700. That's 700 bid. That's 700. That's 700. I'll be careful. I mean 700. That's $700. Out we go. $700 once. $700 twice, third call, all that. 700 out the front is number 80 something. 82, thank you.
It's really a matter of personal taste and deciding how much you really want that piece. Most people are afraid of pulling a piece of furniture apart and putting it back together again. But the truth is, dismantling and reassembly are all part of the furniture restoration process. And as I'm a great believer in retaining a piece's age, its knocks and scars and bangs over its life, aside from a clean and polish, all a piece may require is a re-glue. You see, putting glue in, replacing screws and nails and tightening the joints will help really strengthen a piece. But it's no good having a fine, beautiful piece of furniture that's about to fall apart. You see, furniture is not only for looking at, it's for using. And if you're afraid of pulling a piece of furniture apart, I want to help you overcome that fear, so you can get the most out of your furniture and restore it to its maximum potential.
Now, get that table. Oh no! Stop! Oh, I thought you were cutting up that kitchen table.
No, you wanted it, you can have it. This is some Jacobin old stand.
Oh, no.
You want this one? It's older than me. Burns good, but
Well, what did you do with the kitchen table?
it's in the chook house.
Oh, God.
I like the appearance of this kauri pine kitchen table the way it is. The crackled finish is actually an accident that's happened to it over its lifetime. See, subjected to sunlight and heat, the paint has actually shifted over the top of the shellac, causing it to craze. But I think it's fantastic. It's got lots of character. However, it's in very poor structural condition. I mean, all the components are there and we don't need to replace those. So all I'm going to do is pull it apart, glue it back together and put a lovely wax finish on it. This table is the same as any other piece of furniture. A dresser, a cabinet, a wardrobe, even a chair. That is, they're constructed basically of two components, a frame and panels. Now before you pull anything apart, it's important that you mark the pieces so that they go back to their exact positions. And most of these old joints were handmade, so they'll only reassemble in one way. Now don't use pencil as it rubs off. I use a screwdriver in an unnoticeable area. You can use Roman numerals or letters, so long as you understand it. Okay, the first piece off is the top. It's logical because nothing else is holding it in place. I'm using a homemade wooden mallet for this job. You could use a rubber or a nylon mallet, but never use a steel hammer. It damages the wood. Some of the nails have come out with the top and some of the others are still stuck in the rail, so I'm going to have to extract those with pincer pliers. Fantastic old handmade nails. If you've got some stubborn joints, a good way to loosen them is to squirt some methylated spirits in with an old syringe. And this will break down the old animal glue. Now this end piece with the two legs comes away from the side rails in one piece. And what you're left with is the end just held together by this end rail. It's just a matter of removing this. There you go, the whole table is dismantled and ready for cleaning up so we can re-glue. The main thing to do when you're re-gluing is to clean out the old joints. We need to scrape the old glue out of the mortise joint, which is in the leg. And as well as any joining members, and in this case the rails. This is important because we don't want to be gluing old glue to old glue. We need to be gluing timber to timber. Now this would be a good time to remove any paint or estopol because all the pieces are apart and they're much easier to strip when they're that way. But I'm not stripping anything here. So all I need to do is glue it back together. It's that simple. Don't ever use two-pack glues as it's almost impossible to get the joints apart if you ever have to dismantle it. Only ever use PVA woodworking glues. Putting new glue in will make the joint stronger than ever before. Now with both ends, I'm putting glue inside the mortise or the recess and on the end of the tenon, which is on the rail. Now you only need enough to cover the surface. I'm gluing these together with pipe clamps, but you could use sash clamps if you wish. It's important to wipe off any excess glue because if you don't, it'll show up in the finish. And that's it. Allow it to dry for about 2 hours. I've put glue in all the joints and clamped it into shape, making sure that all the legs are square. Don't let the glue dry if you've got a leg on an angle. So following the marks that you made before, you need to make sure that the table is in exactly the right position. You don't need to glue the top in place, but you may need to punch the nails in. There, that's as strong as it'll ever be. The procedure I've shown you is the same for most furniture. Of course, there may be more complicated pieces, such as a chest of drawers, but if you follow the steps logically, you really can't go wrong. Now all this needs is a couple of coats of beeswax. Now wax can be bought in a couple of ways. One is a block form that needs to be melted down and mixed with turpentine. And the other is a proprietary blend, which is ready to use. I'm using a proprietary blend. The first coat I'm going to apply with 00 or 000 steel wool. The steel wool acts as a light abrasive and works the paste into the timber, feeding it with moisture. After 20 minutes, I've buffed it up with a soft cloth. That looks fantastic, doesn't it? I'll recoat it in about half an hour with some more wax, but I'll use a porous cloth rather than the steel wool. Soft cloth won't damage the previous coat, but fills any thirsty pores in the timber, creating a beautiful soft lustre. And that's what it is. Not a gloss, not a sheen, just a lustre.